How do you think no fans will impact home court advantage? Some say it's about familiarity with the arena. Some say it's about the fans. What do you think?
I don't, it was interesting just watching the bubble, those games, and it made the games a lot different. And you're right, you start thinking about, particularly in the playoffs, like a game 7 at home. It's I think that's such a huge advantage, and that wasn't the case in the bubble. And then we saw all those high scoring games and things like that. So it pretty much, I felt, negated any home court advantage. But it's still, the bubble was a little different in terms of there was no travel involved. There's travel involved now, even though there's no fans. So it's different. But I think for the most part, our players have adapted well. But you do miss the fans.
Next question comes from Mike Vorkanoff, The Athletic.
Hey, Tom. To that end, I mean, do you have to work the refs differently this year just because it is kind of silent? I mean, like, how do you, what all your sideline demeanor, how does that change when everything is heard?
No, you're just trying to help them along. No, I think it's all the same from that standpoint. It's probably, a little different because no one's there, so you could hear everything, and maybe not as well as normal because of the mask and all that stuff. But it's just, in some ways, it's interesting, like hearing the players talk and hearing the rim and things like that. So it's a different vibe to it. I know when I was watching the bubble games, it was entertainment. It was good from that standpoint because it was something different. But I think everyone's getting used to it. It's like the new norm now. So you just make whatever your circumstances are. You got to make the best of them.
Jonathan Macri, Knicks Film School.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? I'm just curious, where are you and the staff at in terms of your process for making final starting lineup decisions, rotation decisions, and things like that?
Every day after practice, we talk about the rotation, and we have a pretty good idea, but that doesn't mean it's set in stone. Obviously, over the course of the season, you need everyone, and particularly this year, under these circumstances, quality depth is important, and I feel that we have that.
Next question comes from Steve Popper, Newsday.
Hey, Tom. Some of the guys that you were holding out of the games, have they been able to get back to practice now that you guys are back getting ready for the regular season? Even Austin?
Yeah, well, not Austin. He's still the groin thing's still bothering him, but Dennis was back, Frank was back, so we pretty much had everyone. Amari's still nicked up, so we're waiting to hear on that. But we got the other guys back.
Zach Brazour, New York Post.
When you look at early season starters and minutes and stuff, how much are you basing that on practice? How much is it based on the preseason games?
Well, I think everything's based on merit. So you evaluate practice, who's practicing well, what groups are playing well. Then you take that further with the games, and you take that information. And so if someone's practicing well, that is important to us. And then when you have your preseason games, if they play well and the team is functioning well when they're on the floor, that's important as well. And so, and that's all you can do. And I think you play the people you feel are going to give you the best chance to win. But you also have the understanding that, over the course of an NBA season, everyone gets an opportunity.
Mike Vorkanoff, The Athletic.
Tom, what have you thought of Obi's passing so far? And is there anything about his game that's kind of surprised you, just seeing him up close now for almost a month?
Well, I would say the passing part has been really good. He's been very good in practice. He's probably rushing a little bit, like offensively, and that's the part of his game that I'm really not worried about. I know that will come. He's a very gifted scorer, and I think not having summer league and fall practices, it probably slowed him a little bit, but he's really starting to come on in practice, and usually when you start doing that, it'll be reflected in the games.
And our last question comes from Steph Bonnie, Daily News.
Tom, I'm sure you started breaking down film and looking at the Pacers. What do you make of them going into the season, and I guess Victor and all that he's dealt with, with the injuries and stuff, and how he's looked?
I think they're a very talented team. They've built a great foundation over the last few years. They're playing a little bit different now offensively in terms of their pace and type of shots they're taking, but they have a number of people that could go off the dribble. And I think, of course, with Victor missing a good chunk of last year, they're still a very good team. And they have great depth and versatility to their lineup. And you add Victor back into the mix, and they're one of the top teams in the East for sure.
Hey, Elfrid, sitting back from the bench and watching that last preseason game, what did you think of the way Immanuel ran the offense there?
Played well. Coach did a good job prepping us. He knocked down a lot of shots. The ball was popping. It was good. I think our defense led to our offense as well. He played good defense. That's how we got to continue to carry it over. He played well.
Steve Popper, Newsday.
With the preseason behind you guys now, what do you see as, I know it's a quick time turnaround you guys had, just how far the team has advanced, how ready you feel this unit is to go?
I feel like we're pretty ready. Coach has been, drilling us in practice, certain things, how he wants things to be run. I think it's going to take, still a little time. Obviously, we didn't have much time coming in. We only had that 1 week of camp. We wasn't able to play together, prior to that, like years past. But I think we've been having some really good practices, so I think we'll be all right.
Mike Vorkanoff, The Athletic.
Hey, Elfrid, Tom was saying that he thinks kind of that Obi is finding his footing as practice is going on and training camp is going on. What have you seen from him lately, and how do you see his preparedness for the NBA coming in as a rookie with no summer league or training camp or any of that?
The fact that all these guys around the league have been playing well is just a testament to how ready these guys are. We haven't had much time, like you said, in the summer league. We didn't even have to get the pickup that we usually have before training camp. So everything is moving extremely fast for these guys, but they seem to be picking it up. Obi's playing well in practice. He's getting to go against Julius every day and learning from him, being able to go at him. So I think he'll be fine once the season starts rolling.
Zach Brazower, New York Post.
Elfrid, you mentioned, none of these rookies obviously had summer league and it's a shortened training camp. With that in mind, and considering Immanuel was not even projected as a first-round pick, how much has he surprised you guys so far?
I don't think he surprised any of us. We know that he's talented. Coach has been doing a good job of preparing us, getting us ready in practice, knowing what the other team is going to do. So it's not really surprising. He puts in a lot of work, day in and day out. So no surprise.
Jonathan Macri, Knicks Film School.
Hey, Elfrid. I know it's just preseason, but through 4 games, the percentage of your team's baskets that have been assisted is way up from last year. Do you see a change in kind of the ball movement and the flow of the offense? And where do you think you guys can even go from here?
Yeah, I definitely see a difference. And like I said, it's just been part of the, practice, something that we drill every day. We still could grow even more, but coach is doing a good job of, kind of forcing us to do it in practice and, like I said, with the drill. So I think we came a long way, but we can keep going.
We have time for 2 more. Next one comes from Steph Bonnie, Daily News.
Hey, Elfrid, I actually got 2 questions here. First is about home court advantage, and this is in the context of having no fans. How much of the home court advantage in the NBA is about the fans, and how much is it about familiarity with the arena and the rims and the shooting sight lines and stuff like that? And then the second question is Tibbs obviously came in with a reputation for game planning and hammering home details and stuff. How much of a difference has it been for him? I mean, is it more so than any other coach that you've ever experienced for him, setting the game plan and making you guys study the opposing team?
To your first question, I think here is more so about the fans. Home court advantage. We don't get to practice much in the garden. Even have shoot arounds there and like shoot on those rims because there's always something going on in the garden and things like that. So it's not really so much the rims and familiarity, but it's just the fans. Being in that arena, the crowd is kind of our home field advantage. But as far as Tibbs, he's definitely very attention detail oriented. Like we'll do something 100 times if he don't feel like it's done right. So that's what I'm saying. Like the game plan coming back after playing Cleveland, after watching film on them and kind of knowing what they was gonna do, it really showed a big difference in that series.
And our last question comes from Mike Vorkanoff, The Athletic.
Elfrid, obviously this year is so different for you guys, especially with the COVID testing and the different protocols that you guys have in place. Has there been anything that stood out to you as like especially different or kind of you've noticed a change in your day-to-day routine because of all this?
I mean, just the fact that we have to wait 30 minutes before entering the gym, having to be here earlier for that. That's kind of the biggest difference. And obviously, just walking around without a mask on, with a mask on around the gym, unless you on the court or doing something like this.
Our first question comes from Zach Braziller from the New York Post.
Emmanuel, what's been the transition like for you? I mean, there's no summer league, obviously a shortened training camp, and you've played so well in the preseason. Why do you think there hasn't really been much of a transition? Why do you think you've been able to start so fast here?
For me, I think a big help has been coming from Kentucky. Coach Cal and that whole staff, they pushed us a lot to where we were competing for playing time, competing to just get on the floor. Every day they treated us like we were professionals on and off the floor, and they just really pushed us every single day. So I feel like coming from Kentucky, I really have an edge in trying to, transition to the NBA.
Mike Vorkanoff, The Athletic.
Hey, Emmanuel. Tibbs was saying that how he wants you to shoot more threes and shoot from the perimeter, especially early in the preseason. He was saying that. Do you get the same message from him, on a one-to-one level? And then, for you, what's your philosophy on when to shoot and when not to shoot? Are you just trying to get it up anytime you see an inch of space, or are you more, principled than that?
Yeah, he tells me pretty much the coaching staff, anytime if I'm open, just shoot it, And then for the other question of when do I shoot it, when do I pass it, it's kind of just all feel. If I'm open, shoot it. If there's a play to make, I make it. In a lot of film study, I've been able to, really break down the game on another level and just be able to see plays ahead. So that's been helping me out a lot too.
Steph Bondy, Daily News.
Hey, Emmanuel, I know it was really only one preseason game, well, five quarters, but your performances have Knicks fans hyped about the possibilities here. Have you felt that excitement from the fan base, through social media or through whatever?
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. Just a blessing. Thank God for the opportunity of being in New York and being a Knick. Just really looking forward to getting better each and every day, coming to work and grinding, and doing something special with a special group. So I'm glad I'm here.
Zach Braziller, New York Post.
Kind of to back up, jump on top of that, Emmanuel, there was thought that you might be a mid-second round pick. There was, kind of really uncertainty about you. Do you feel like this is you kind of found the right place? Do you feel like, considering the uncertainty at point guard with this franchise, that you really have an opportunity to cut right away here to make a name for yourself?
Yeah, you always look for opportunity wherever there is. You try to come in and work hard. Even at the point guard position, I feel like, I have guys that I'm learning from each and every day. Dennis Smith and Elfrid, They're showing me little things that, I can get better at. So, just having a great group around me, I feel like has really helped me transition on the floor as well as off the floor.
We have time for two more. Mike Vorkanoff, The Athletic.
Emmanuel, with how quick the changeover has been since the draft and all that, have you gotten to see New York at all? Like, have you gotten adjusted to the area, or has it just been Westchester, Gym and back for you?
Kind of been more of basketball. I mean, even with COVID, there's not really a lot to do. So my pre-draft was in Manhattan and Chelsea. So I kind of was around there, but I really don't do anything outside of basketball anyway, besides just chill with my family, play video games, read, and focus on my spiritual life. So outside of basketball, I really don't do anything anyway. So Westchester is pretty cool.
And our last question comes from Steph Bonnie, Daily News.
Hey, Emmanuel, now you're watching from afar what's happening with Kentucky. What do you make of their really rough start here in the season?
Life is all about challenges, adversity, and failure, and using that to be successful. Nobody that was successful, came from just success. They had to fail multiple times to get better as a team or individually. So for them to be 1-5, it's not as good as they want it to be, but you can turn around a season really fast. And I don't doubt Coach Cal and those guys at all. So I just hope they continue to keep fighting and they don't give up.